They say truth always finds its way to the surface. But what happens when the truth itself becomes the target? When someone somewhere tries to erase every trace of it, piece by piece? This is what many believe happened in the case of Menglong. For months, silence surrounded his name. Official statements were vague. Reports were inconsistent. Timelines didn't add up. And just when the world began to move on, a chilling discovery brought everything back into question. Because someone, it seems, knew about Menglong's fate long before the world did. And that someone may have tried to erase every single clue that pointed to the truth. At first, it started with small inconsistencies. A missing file here. An archived video disappearing there. A deleted post that fans swore existed just days earlier. One or two of these things could have been coincidence. But when dozens of online records connected to Menglong vanished within a span of 48 hours, it became impossible to ignore. His old social media interactions disappeared. Clips from interviews were taken down without explanation. Behind-the-scenes content was quietly removed from production sites. Even fan-uploaded videos, those with timestamps and commentary, were targeted. Someone wanted the trail cold. Digital investigators began comparing backups and found that not only were files deleted, many were overwritten. Entire archives had been replaced with blank data, making it impossible to recover original content. That takes resources. That takes access. And above all, that takes intent. Because accidents don't delete entire databases. They don't selectively remove one person's history while leaving everything else untouched. Fans began compiling lists. Each missing clip. Each broken link. Each strange disappearance. And the deeper they looked, the clearer it became. Menglong's digital footprint was being scrubbed. But then came something even more disturbing. An anonymous insider reached out to a fan community, claiming that certain materials were flagged for removal days before the public even learned of Menglong's disappearance. This meant that whoever initiated the cleanup already knew what was coming. They knew something serious was about to happen. And they were prepared to hide the traces before anyone could ask questions. If that's true, then this wasn't just damage control. It was prevention. Investigators started looking at the metadata of Menglong's old posts and videos that were still accessible. That's when the anomalies began to appear. Timestamps were edited. Original posting dates didn't align with server logs. Certain posts had been duplicated, then re-uploaded under new names. Someone had been inside his accounts. And what's worse, some of the edits were traced to servers that didn't belong to Menglong's management or public platforms. This raised a terrifying question. Who had the power to enter his private records and rewrite them? By this point, fans had turned into investigators themselves. Screenshots were shared, backups were cross-referenced, and fragments of deleted footage were pieced together like a digital puzzle. That's when one video stood out. It was short, less than 10 seconds, but it changed everything. In it, Menglong can be seen looking off camera, almost distracted, as if listening to something. Then, under his breath, he says a single word. Something that sounds like, enough. Before anyone could analyze it, the video disappeared. The link was gone, the mirror uploads were deleted, and even cached copies became inaccessible. Every trace erased within hours. Digital analysts who had downloaded the clip early reported something chilling. The video file name didn't match any of his official uploads. It was labeled with a string of random numbers, followed by the word unfinished. Had Menglong recorded something privately? Something that was never meant to be public? And if so, who found it? And who decided the world shouldn't see it? From there, the story spiraled into deeper territory. A few journalists began to question the silence surrounding the investigation. Requests for comment went unanswered. Access to archives was restricted. Even staff who had worked with him were reportedly advised not to speak publicly. But a few brave individuals began sharing fragments, pieces of what they remembered. They spoke about Menglong appearing increasingly cautious in his final weeks, how he stopped attending casual gatherings, how he avoided interviews and started using private communication channels. He was, they said, trying to protect something. When authorities were finally questioned about the missing files and erased records, they simply stated that data migration was ongoing. But data migration doesn't explain altered timestamps. It doesn't explain deleted archives. And it doesn't explain why files specifically related to Menglong vanished while others remained untouched. It was too targeted, too precise, too deliberate. Speculation grew that someone with inside access wanted to rewrite the narrative before the truth could surface. A cover-up, perhaps. Or a containment strategy to prevent the public from seeing something they weren't supposed to. Because what if the real story wasn't about what happened that night, but about what he knew before it did? That theory gained strength when one of his old collaborators posted a cryptic message online. He warned us. We didn't listen. Now they're deleting everything. The post was deleted within minutes. But screenshots spread like wildfire. What was he warning them about? And who was they? In the following days, several accounts linked to Menglong's former co-workers went private. Others began posting vague messages about truth being dangerous and the cost of silence. To fans, it was no longer coincidence. It was confirmation. Someone knew. Someone saw what was coming. And someone wanted to make sure no trace of it remained. Digital recovery specialists later discovered fragments of a private message thread that mentioned a project file stored under Menglong's name. That file was last accessed hours before his disappearance. The user who accessed it? Anonymous. The server record? Wiped. All that remained was an empty digital signature. Proof that something existed, but no trace of what it was. It was as though the evidence itself had been ghosted out of existence. At this point, the investigation took a sharp turn. Authorities confirmed that certain digital anomalies were under review but refused to elaborate. That phrase, digital anomalies, only fueled more questions. Because in digital forensics, anomalies often mean interference, tampering, erasure, and someone went to great lengths to ensure those anomalies stayed buried. As more people came forward, a clearer picture began to emerge. Menglong had expressed concern about private documents and unfinished projects weeks before he vanished. He mentioned wanting to secure them elsewhere, somewhere safe. Those who heard him at the time thought little of it. But now, in retrospect, those words feel haunting. Was he trying to safeguard something? Was that the reason someone stepped in to erase the trail? One insider, speaking under anonymity, described it perfectly. He wasn't scared for hims.